Once again for dropping by the channel. If you like the content, if you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe, share the video if you enjoyed it, if felt it was useful. Now let's get into this. So, it seems like we've been talking about this pretty much since the start of the year, really. Billy Joe and Canelo. You know, that was the fight on everyone's lips going into 2020. It was the fight that we believed was going to get over the line because I think it was him and Callum Smith were the first two front runners for May. Then we heard that Callum Smith's team were looking for a little bit more than they probably should have been. And Billy Joe came in to save the day. Obviously, no one saw what was coming in terms of what we have now, unfortunately. You know. And for that, it meant that that fight had to be put on the back foot, which obviously meant that Canelo will fight in September, probably December. Now, we heard a list of people who were named for Canelo. Names like Anthony Durrell, what's the guy's name? Derevchenko, Triple G, guys like that. Now, they said that the guys like Derevchenko and, I just said his name, Durrell, they were kind of the cheaper options for September. I would imagine that they're the cheaper options because maybe Golden Boy and Canelo were thinking, right, if we get Canelo out in September, there's a pretty good chance that it may very well either be behind closed doors or at a greatly reduced capacity, like maybe 1,000 people if even. So obviously you're going to take a massive hit on the gate receipts, as we all know. So Canelo will get his, massive payday as he always does, and rather than lose money by giving, the opponents, 8.5 million, we can give them 2 million, and they're happy out. So that's essentially kind of what we're thinking. That's kind of what it looks like is going to happen in September. Obviously December, different story. Hopefully we can have fans back in by then. Hopefully sooner. I'm ever the optimist. I want fans back soon. Hopefully we can get that. Fingers crossed. But Billy Joe is not as optimistic about the Canelo fight. I'm going to quote what Billy Joe told IFL TV here. This is what he had to say. He says, "So it is what it is. There's a chance the Canelo fight still takes place, but in September, probably not. Not surprising to me that it's not going to take place in September because Billy Joe will probably want the same as he got, or the same as he was offered for the May date. And obviously if fans aren't allowed in, or if it's a greatly reduced attendance, they're going to take a loss. They will take a loss. The zone, they'll take a loss. So December, possibly. But he says here that all I can do is keep winning. I'm not going to worry about the fight. I'm not desperate for the money. I've got enough money to feed my family." So that's what Billy Joe was at to say. He says, whether it's 100 million or 200 million or F 10 pence, you know what the F stands for. If I'm not 100% right, and they try to spring stuff on me, I won't take it. This is what he said regarding the Canelo negotiations. "I do what the right decision is for me. I'm not working to develop Canelo's career. I'm working on my own career. So if it suits, suits. If it doesn't suit, then it's not the end of the world." So that's what Billy Joe has to say. Interesting. So he's obviously saying that the negotiations. Now, is he talking about the negotiations? I would assume that he's not discussing the main negotiations. He's probably discussing the negotiations for the potential September fight. And obviously, he's mentioning money, saying that money's not an issue. He's enough money to feed his family, but he needs to keep winning. Well, who is he going to fight? He's no fights lined up. He hasn't had a fight now. By the time he gets back into the ring this year, this year, really? I don't think Billy Joe will fight back this year. Next year, probably. And by then, that'd be another year out of the ring. Billy Joe, his inactivity has been quite bad. Literally, since he fought Eubank, he's been such a stop-start fighter. He beat Eubank Jr., he blew up in weight, and then he fought some light heavyweight in 2015 before he fought Andy Lee back then. And literally, he was at light heavyweight. He looked terrible in that fight, in terms of aesthetically. And then he fought Andy Lee, didn't fight again for another year. Then he didn't fight again for something like, nearly a year, like 9-10 months. And that was 2017 when he fought Monroe, and then he fought Lemieux. That was a quick turnaround. And then he was out of the ring for basically a year and a half, because he fought in Damu on the Frampton undercard before Christmas 2018, and then he fought twice last year. So last year, every second year, he seems to kind of bring a little bit out. But Billy Joe has been very inactive over the years. Some people have questioned whether his heart's in boxing anymore. That, you know, he just wants the payday so he can go and enjoy himself with his friends and, you know, just live his life basically. And I definitely think there's an element of it there. You know, Billy Joe, 2-weight world champion, but yeah, he's made money. I'm sure he's not broke. I'm sure he's, you know, fairly well off. But I think the biggest payday he ever got was probably that Lemieux fight. I think he got like £1 million or something like that for that fight. So, you know, it's a hell of a lot more for getting the Canelo fight. So, you know, obviously I'm sure maybe the idea was put to them that, you know, fight Canelo in September, or, you know, potentially fight him in, you know, December. And maybe Billy Joe was thinking, well, if I fight him in December, I'll be, you know, out of the ring, you know, a year basically. But so would Canelo, to be fair. But Canelo might have the September fight, to be fair. Actually, Canelo will have the September fight, so he'll get some of that rust off. You know, it's hard to know. It's hard to know what's going on. Obviously, if Billy Joe was offered $8 million before, you would imagine that that would go down. Given the fact that no fans, given the fact that the economy is absolutely decimated, so he's probably not going to get that kind of money again. But, you know, Billy Joe, Canelo, it's a fight I wanted to see. I thought Canelo would win. I still do. I think Canelo will win that fight. I think he'll stop Billy Joe, but I definitely think Billy Joe could be game. I definitely think Billy Joe can, you know, can mess Canelo around basically. And think of it like this. Think this is the motivation you need for fighting Canelo. People say like, oh yeah, well, Billy Joe, he just wants to collect the payday. Well, yeah, of course he wants to collect the payday, but think of it like this, right? You get £8 million for fighting Canelo, right? You beat Canelo. You add a 2 to that 8, and that's in and around what you're going to get for the rematch. So it's definitely well in your, it's your incentive to try and win that fight, because you get a rematch, you are going to get paid you serious money. So when people say, oh yeah, but he's only fighting for the money, he's not going to go in there and try and win, it's definitely, if he wants money, then if he wins, he is going to get an absolute, you know, truckload. So it's well within his, you know, it benefits him to try and win. But the way things are now, it looks like that fight is off the table, which is actually, I would have liked to have seen it personally. So what happens for Canelo? Well, literally, what is going to happen to Billy Joe then next to fight Canelo? Who is he going to fight? John Ryder? Callum Smith? You know? So it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. Let me know your thoughts down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, of course, if you are new. And as always, I will talk to you.